Michael Ann's speech today is entitled, Why Should I Set Goals? Michael Ann lives in Hernando and is a working stay-at-home mom and wife, and Madam Timer, the speech today is 8 to 10 minutes. So without further ado, please give it up for Mr. Michael Ann Dillon.
Thank you. We're going to have a little bit of audience participation today. Why are reasons that we should set goals? Any idea why we should set goals? Margaret?
So we know what we're striving for and what we want to achieve.
That's right. If we don't know where we're going, how are we going to know if we get there? Well, also, we need to know what our goal is. How many of you have ever set a goal that you'd like to share with me right now? Bruce?
I set a goal when I opened my business in 2009 from with $0, 0 customers, I set a goal to make it into a viable business that I could retire
Okay.
from. And short term, I set a goal of $100,000 in sales. But each year, and I've tried to be each year it's going up, and that's the value of that.
Perfect. Because he's telling some great steps. He set a goal, he broke it down into short-term and long-term goals, and I'm assuming you had a date on that goal, because a goal without a deadline is just a wish. It's not really a goal unless you have it measured into increments of time. But the main thing that I want to convey today is not necessarily what goals are, how to set goals. You have to have a secret ingredient in that goal, and that has to be your why. Why are you setting that goal? Because if your why is compelling enough, when you come up against obstacles, you're going to have a very strong motivating factor to overcome those obstacles. So I'll share with you one of the very first goals I ever set. I was in first grade, so I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and we had some kind of class party, and my mom came and helped with that party that day. And she was the only mom that was there. And I looked around and I looked at the other kids, and my heart just broke for them, because I thought, why are their moms not here? When I have children, I am going to be in their schools as a helper. And that goal motivated me from the time I was 6 to the time I was married. It actually motivated me to drive a truck with my husband for 5 years as an over-the-road truck driver. This was before I even had children, but we were planning ahead financially so that when we did have children, I could be at home with them. When I heard about beauty control, the only reason I even considered that as an opportunity is because it would allow me to set my own schedule, to be at home, and to be in school with the kids when I had them. Well, I'm going to share some things that I've learned along the way. Number one, you have to be vicissitude. No, you have to have vicissitude. I don't know how to use that word, but I threw it in there. You have to be flexible. You have to have what we in my industry call a BHAG, which is B-H-A-G, which is big, hairy, audacious goal. Set a big goal. If you shoot for the stars, you know, you're going to land somewhere among them. But you have to set that goal and break it down. So, for example, Bruce's goal was with his business, and he set a goal for 5 years, 1 year, and I'm sure you broke that down into monthly goals and even weekly and daily goals. How many people did Bruce need to contact to reach that goal? I'm sure he factored in that so many people are going to say no out of each person that he asks, and so he divided that up and he broke it down. Another thing is, don't focus on the now when it's hard. You know, I'm sure Bruce heard no a lot of times, and sometimes it's easy to get discouraged when you're in the now, whether it's a weight loss goal, whether it's a financial goal, whether it's something with your health. You know, maybe you have to give up certain kinds of foods. There's times when that's going to be really hard, but you can't focus on what's going on right now. You have to look ahead, and you have to think, once I reach this goal, what is life going to be like? Bruce was able to leave a corporate job, and so now he's able to work for himself. If your goal is to lose weight, you know, think about how fun it's going to be to go shopping and buy that smaller size of clothing. If your goal is health related, think about how much better you're going to feel when you get up in the morning, when you make those necessary changes. But that you really have to focus on, and not what you're doing right now. When Patty and I went to a conference years ago, I don't even know how long ago it was, we had a guest speaker one time who came, and he actually kept talking about breaking our board. And we thought he meant figuratively breaking a board. just having a breakthrough with whatever was holding us back. Then he handed out boards, and I was still thinking this was probably figurative, and he had us write on our goal, on our board, what our goal was, what life would be like if we could just snap our fingers and make it happen. Then on the other side of our board, he had us write what was holding us back. And we went through this 2-hour session, I think it was, and he coached us through what to do, how to hold the board, how to hold your hand, and it clicked along the way. I was really going to have to put my hand through a board. So he had us X out what was holding us back, and he had another person hold the board. They were trained. We knew what our stance was. We knew how to do it. But the key was we could not look at the board. We could not look at what was holding us back, because if you focused on that, then your hand is going to stop right there, because your brain is going to tell your hand you can't go through a board. You actually had to focus on the eyes of the person holding the board. So you were focusing past what was holding you back, and you were thinking about what was the goal on the other side. Well, needless to say, I broke my board. Patty broke her board. Every lady there broke our board that day, and it wasn't so much about physically breaking the board. That taught me a lesson. You can't focus on what's holding you back. You must focus on what lies behind that goal and what is holding you back. So some things that I do are I make lists. I sit down and I plan what I need to do to accomplish those short and long-term goals, and I mark them off as I go. And if you do something that's not on the list, you absolutely should write it down and mark it off. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. I make out my list the night before, and often the list in my head the night before does not go anything like the next day, but it gives me something to focus on. And I like the fact that I'm constantly setting goals, because a couple of quotes that have always stuck with me. One is from Brian Tracy, and he said, "You can only coast in one direction." The other quote is, "If you're not growing, you're dying." So you have to learn problem solving. When you set goals and things come up that stop you, you figure out a way to get around that. And so you're constantly learning problem solving. And also, your why is going to change over the years. My why in the beginning was to go and help at school when my children were smaller. They're no longer in elementary school. But my goal is still to be a stay-at-home mom, to earn extra income. My family enjoys that extra income. If my children come home and they want to go to church camp, football camp, a band trip, I'm able to actually provide that for them. One thing that I've really been thankful that setting goals has taught my children is that they can do it too. When my oldest came home from first grade, they kicked off a fundraiser. He was so excited about all of the things that he could earn. And there was no doubt in his mind that he could sell products and he could earn prizes because he had seen me do it. Today, my older two children have a yard mowing business. They have 18 yards consistently that they mow. They're constantly trying to improve themselves. You must use positive self-talk. Don't ever say something like, "I'm not very good at." What you need to say is, "I'm going to improve at," whatever the thing is that you'd like to improve. Know your strengths. Confidently work on those strengths. Whatever you're not strong at, learn to delegate. Focus on what you're good at. When you don't achieve your goal, you have not failed. If you set a goal and you don't get all the way to that goal, you are still further along the road than if you had never set that goal to start with. When I set a goal and I don't make it all the way there, it's time to do some self-evaluation. Sometimes maybe the goal was a little too lofty and it wasn't quite as attainable as I thought. Other times I didn't do what I should have done. Maybe I failed to host as coach, to follow up, whatever the activities were, maybe I didn't do them every day like I should have. Sometimes life just gets in the way. But knowing why you didn't attain that goal will help you the next time, and you'll get it the next time. Zig Ziglar once said, "If you help enough other people get what they want, you in turn will get what you want." Have an accountability partner. If it's weight loss, if it's, earning a goal within your job, have someone that's in that same goal with you. So whenever you reach certain mile markers, you can call or text them, "Hey, I got a recruit today. Got a party book today," and have somebody you can do that with so that it makes it more fun and you're being held accountable. I've learned that there are three kinds of people in this world. There are the kind of people that make things happen. There are the kind of people that watch things happen. And there are the kind of people that say, what just happened? Be among the first.